Good morning. This video is about a surveillance camera that I recently purchased. Not the one you see right now. I thought, no, let me start over. I was looking to purchase a pan tilt zoom networked video surveillance camera. I was looking for something about the size of what you see here, except it would have probably had a dome on top. And I did some searching and on YouTube and found one in the price range that I was looking for, and did some research on it, in that I looked it up on YouTube to see what capabilities it had, and was pretty impressed with how well it could zoom, and that it was pan tilt and all that kind of stuff. And based on the pictures, I didn't check the dimensions. It just, all the pictures I saw of it, it was just the camera. So I'll show you a picture here. That didn't look that big. It looked like it was maybe something like this, but like I said, with a globe on the top. And what I got was this. This is a pretty big box. I was really shocked. So was the cat, with how big how big this box is, and I was not expecting a cat to come in at this moment while shooting the video. She thinks I'm talking to her, and now she wants some attention. Anyways, let me reposition the camera and take care of the cat, and we'll unbox this. I've already unboxed this and worked on it and looked at it, but I'm going to do it again. So, okay, now that the cat has been properly attended to, so what comes with this thing? A pair of really strange gloves that are, I don't know what they're made out of. It's like nylon or plastic. Instruction manuals and a little CD. A mounting bracket with some kind of pipe thread on it. Power cord. Teflon sealing tape for the pipe thread. A carrying handle safety cable. Power over Ethernet injector. And 2 Allen wrenches. Like I said, this thing is big. So let me get this thing out so where it can be looked at, and I'll be back in a couple of seconds. Alright, so first off, we'll show you the connections this thing has. It has a Ethernet connection that can be made water resistant. It has an RCA, or it's a BNC connector, but it's probably a composite out. It has a power connector for something. It has another power connector. This one's for AC 24 volts. Then it has all the connections for controlling it with some kind of pan, tilt, zoom hardware or controller. Let me get this thing open. When you first get it, you're supposed to remove these 4 screws, and then there's a ring in some tape in there to hold everything still, which I've already done, but I need to open it up, and I'll be back. Okay, so to put this thing in perspective, this is the dome of what I was expecting to get, and this is the dome that I got. And take this off. It's got a little cord there so that you know, when you're spying on protesters at a Hong Kong protest or something, you know, if you have to work on this thing, you don't drop it from a high. One of the things you're supposed to do, which I didn't do earlier, is if you, well, it's not that you have to do it, it's, but you can, is you can install a micro SD card in here, and apparently you can put up to 128 gigs SD card, micro SD card. Not 100% sure what that's for. I think it's local storage of video of some kind. It seems to be okay to move this camera in the I'm going to put some videos in here that I got from manufacturers' websites and such. I'll put that at the end if you want to see what the capabilities of this thing is. I have hooked this up to my network. I have used it, but it's so big and bulky, and it's not intuitive to use, that I won't be able to actually fully appreciate it until I have a chance to install it. And I'm not sure, it's not going to probably be at my current house. At some point I'm moving, and I'm going to put it in the new house. It's going to stand out like a sore thumb. This thing is huge. So let's see here. This has, I'm going to get the camera off the tripod, and I'll show you what I can see inside of it. And we'll transfer to shaky vision. You can see that the inside of this is mostly, let me get work light. Get some extra power or light in here. There we go. You can see that there's a couple of fans in here. I can't tell if they're vented to the outside. They may not be. So I don't know how well this thing will work when in high heat. it looks like you can remove this by pulling those two connectors, but I'm not going to do that. And you can see that there's some circuitry in there. You can see the stepper motor that controls it. Some more of the circuit boards. So let me put this back on the okay. So what I'll do is I'm gonna read some specs, and while I'm reading the specs I'll put up video of the capabilities of this thing. So let's see here. Image sensor is 1/3 progressive scan CMOS. The resolution is 1080p. It is 36 times optical zoom, 140 decibels of wide dynamic range, smart tracking, smart detection, IP67 rated, and let's see what else we got here. Minimum illumination color is 0.05 lux. In black and white it's 0.01 lux at f1.6 AGC on. Focal length is 4.5 meters to 162 4.5 millimeters to 162 millimeters. It then has an 16x digital zoom, which is nonsense. Let's see here. Zoom speed is 3.3 optical wide to tel. I guess that means it'll go from wide to telephoto in 3.3 seconds. Angle of view 60.6 degrees to 3.68 degrees. Minimum working distance, I'm going to assume that means that it can focus on something as close as 10 millimeters to 1500 millimeters wide to telephoto. So when it's in wide angle, it can supposedly focus on as close as 10 millimeters, and in telephoto as far as 1500 millimeters or 15 centimeters. Aperture range f1.6 to f4.4. It has focus mode, auto, semi-automatic, and manual. Signal to noise ratio is greater than or equal to 55 dB. Shutter speed 1 second to 1/30,000th of a second. White balance, it has several modes including daylight lamp, sodium lamp. It has an IR cut filter. It has 8 privacy masks, which you can set it up so that it will actually block certain portions of the view. You can't see past them. Of course, we all know that can just be turned off, I'm sure, if someone has the ability. 3D enhancements, 3D DNR. I'll have to look up what that is. Defog, HLC, BLC, and SVC. It has a range, a pan of 360 degrees endless. That means it can just spin. Tilt -15 to 90, auto flip. That means that when it gets to this point, it will automatically flip around. pan manual speed 0.1 degree to 300 degrees per second. A bunch of boring stuff in there. Number of presets 300. 16 patrols up to 32 presets per patrol. So you can just have it look at specific things in a certain order. 10 patterns with recording time not less than 10 minutes per pattern. Park action. Scheduled tasks. That means you can have it do preset patrol patterns, auto scan, tilt scan, random scan, frame scan, panoramic scan. You can just schedule it to do all sorts of things. Smart tracking. This thing can supposedly do manual panorama intrusion trigger, line crossing trigger, region entrance trigger, region exit trigger. So basically it puts a line, you can put a line across the image, and if anything crosses that image, or if somebody comes into or goes out of an area, it will start recording. Or specifically mark it or alert you or something like that. I haven't gotten into it that far. Smart detection. That just repeats the smart tracking. ROI encoding. Alarm. It has 7/2. I don't know what that means. Alarm triggers. It will trigger on intrusion, line crossing, region entrance, exit, motion, audio exception detection, dynamic analysis, tampering alarm, network disconnect, IP address conflict, storage exception. And then it'll do different things based on those alarms. Let's see here. It can do NTSC or PAL through the composite connection. It has an audio input and audio output. And it uses Ethernet. Now this says it's 10 base T and 100 base T, but according to what I was reading, it even does gigabit, but this doesn't say it on here. The mainstream can be done at 1920 by 1080, 30 frames per second, and it can go to 60 frames per second with wide dynamic range off. It can do substreams that are 30 frames per second, and I won't go through all the different resolutions. It says something about a third stream. I don't know what that means, other than it just gives resolutions. Image compressions, uses H.264, MJPEG, MPEG-4. Audio compression, gives a bunch of audio compressions I've never heard of. Supports IPv4, 6, HTTP, FTP, SMTP. Good lord. It can have up to 20 simultaneous live viewers. And like I said, the memory card is a micro SD that can supports up to 128 gigs. And then it goes into a whole bunch of other stuff about security and browsers and whatever and whatnot. So, yeah, that's the Hikvision or Hikvision, whatever model this thing is, indoor-outdoor speed dome. I don't know if these will still. Oh, the price. So, like I said, this was $500. And stand by a second. I need to look up how much they normally are. Alright, so I looked it up real quick, and I got mine off of eBay and paid $500, and that was including shipping. The normal price for these that I could find is somewhere between $1,400 and $2,260. And I couldn't figure out why this thing was so inexpensive, and apparently it's because they are discontinued. They've been superseded by something newer. So, you know, if you can find one of these, I mean, hell, for $500, this thing's great. What would really be fun to do with this thing is to try to use it kind of like to do some stargazing or something. That would be interesting. But this one is going to be put into service as a surveillance camera in my new house whenever I get that. So anyways, thanks for watching.